the first line we drew was a horizon line, and it goes across the page. Right? The horizon line represents where the sky and the ground meet. Back in the day, we could just look out that building and see the field, and it was really easy to do. But then they had to go and build a stupid gym in front of me. But you're driving down the road, and you look way off in the distance, and you see the blue and the brown meet, right? That's the horizon line. And the thing about that is it is always at eye level. And so that changes some things, all right? So Carly, who's sitting down, her horizon line is lower than mine. If I laid down on the floor, hers would be way up here. And so that changes your perspective on how you see things. And that matters in a little bit, so keep that in mind. All right. There's 3 lines we're going to draw. A, B, and C. It's that simple. And if you want, you can write A, B, and C up there in the top left-hand corner. All right. A goes up and down. And the way I like to remember A is, A stands for altitude. All right? And altitude is what? Height. Thank you. So anything that has height is an A line. Whether it's the thickness of my paper or from the leg of the table from the floor to where it hits the wood. Right? That anything going up is an A line. And the trick to an A line, and this is hard for a lot of people. I'm going to switch to black paper underneath so y'all can see. This is the one that gets people because they try to cheat it and it doesn't work. But the trick is every single time, not just when I feel like it, not on Thursdays, not when my friends tell me to, but every single time I line up my ruler with the top of the page or I line it up with the bottom of the page. And if you do that, please do that. Don't be that one student that I walk around and says, you're not doing your A line right. You're not lining up with the top of the page. Don't be that student. You line it up with the bottom or you line it up with the top, it'll always go up and down. Otherwise, it starts getting crooked and things don't look right anymore. That's rule number 1. All right? A B line goes to vanishing point number 1, and a C line goes to vanishing point number 2. So for today, we're going to put our vanishing points out on the edge of the paper. Okay? Simple enough? So y'all get to that point right there. Now, one thing, when you draw your horizon line, put it about halfway up and down the page. Don't measure, just guess. And I'll line up my ruler with the edge of the paper. So that makes it go straight across the paper. All right? Get that done. Okay. So, that's our horizon line. We're going to start off with 3 boxes today. The first one is going to be below the horizon line. So to do that, when you're drawing in perspective, for me it's always easiest to draw from the front to the back. So on this box, this first box, I'm going to draw an A line first. If you notice, I lined up the ruler with the top of the page. All right? Somewhere near the bottom, I'm going to draw an A line. You know, that's maybe a couple inches long. And then if y'all stop and just watch, I'm going to give you more information and let y'all go. So eyes on the screen, pencils down. All right. So from the bottom of this line, that's an A line. And I lined up my ruler with the top of the paper. Or I can do it from the bottom. But it's important. If I keep repeating it, it means it's important that your ruler is lined up with the top or the bottom of the paper. The next line is a B line. And if I'll just put my pencil on the B dot, on that vanishing point, put my ruler up against it and bump it, and spin it, so I'm going to the bottom of this inline there. Both of these go to the B, vanishing point, and then they go to the C. If my ruler's not touching one of those dots, I'm doing the line wrong. Make them darker, sorry. Mine's going to look terrible at the end of the day because I'm drawing so dark. All right, so I got that. It looks like a fence, right? See a fence there? So to turn this into a box, I got to draw the back corners of it. And it's just up to you how far back you go. But I'm going to draw another A line. All right, and then on this side, I'm going to draw another A line. Don't make your stuff tiny, but don't make it huge at the same time. Now I need the back corners of the box. All right? If I can only draw 3 lines, all right, I've already drawn an A line. This is a C line, so my only option is a B line. And the same over here from this corner. This is an A line. This is a B line. So my only option now is a C line. Okay? Does that make sense? Go for it. So, looks like everybody got that down pretty good. So here's where it comes in. All these lines that are out past the box are going to get erased. At the beginning of the year, I put a nice eraser in that red cup. Hopefully it's still there. By the way, those are much better than the pencil eraser on the end of your pencil. But if you take these erasers and you throw them on the floor, steal them, throw them in the trash, throw them outside, tear them up, chew them up, I don't replace them. So be nice to the equipment and it'll be nice to you. So I do all that erasing and now I have a box sitting on the ground. All right. So box number 2, we're going to put it in the sky. Boxes don't go in the sky, but yet again, we're artists. We can do what we want. So I'm going to do the same thing. This is an A line. It's above the horizon line. Some of you guys that have your horizon line really close to the top, this is going to be a really small box. From the bottom of that end line, end point, I go to B. From the top, I go to B. And then do the same thing to C. And one thing that'll speed it up, if your eyes are on the screen, the time that I'm talking is the time you're watching. Right? If I'm going to draw this line from here to here, and I do this, and I put the ruler on C, and then I move it over here to this point, and then C moves, and then this side moves, and it takes me forever to draw a line. I can draw a line really fast by I put my pencil on one of the dots, bump my ruler, spin it to the point, draw the line, and I'm done. It'll speed up your drawing a lot if you'll do that. So I'm going to throw in a couple A lines. And then from this corner, see I got my pencil on one of my endpoints, bump, rotate to the dot, draw the line, pencil on the dot, bump and rotate. And now I have a box in the sky. Go for it. Yeah, like I say, when you get done, then you can erase all the extra lines. Now you've got a box floating in the sky. All right, so the next one we're gonna draw. It's simple, but it's a little more complicated. But you're good. You can do this. So eyes on the screen, pencils down. All right. So if you notice, we're always starting with an A line. We've always started with the corner that's closest to us. All right. So the next one. Got my ruler lined up at the top of the paper. I'm going to start at the top of this box and go above and below the horizon line. All right. Actually, I'm going to draw into the box so I can make this seem easy. From the top up here, I'm going to go to A, or I'm going to go to B, I'm sorry. And then I'm also going to go to C. I'll save you a bunch of erasing. If your line runs into another box, stop there. Okay? But I'm going to keep going a little bit. All right. So that's the top of this building, this box, whatever you want to call it. I drew down into the box a little bit. Draw that part super light because it gets erased. However far you want to go. From this bottom, I'm going to go to B. Oh, I don't like that. From this bottom, I'm going to go to B. And when I get outside the box, then I'm going to make it dark. All right, but it really goes from here to here like that. From the bottom, I'm going to go to C. When I get outside the box, I can make it dark again. So now I have what looks like a big old huge fence. Wherever you decide to put it, measure back a little bit and put an A line. Theoretically, it goes all the way down to this line right here. But I just stopped it at the top of the box. And then over here, I'm going to draw an A line. When I get outside the box, I'm going to make it dark again. Okay? Now, this is why we have to keep all these lines so light. We can't see through this box to see the horizon line anymore, so we erase that. Obviously, we can't see inside of these boxes, so any lines that are in there get erased. And then these extra lines going to the vanishing point are no longer necessary. All right, clean up this one line, redraw it. All right, so now I have a box that's above and below the horizon line, and it's sitting behind these two boxes. If yours doesn't overlap a box, that's okay. The main thing I want you to do is get a box that is above and below the horizon line. You know, B lines, C lines, all that stuff in there. Okay? Go for it, and I'll come around and help you as needed. All right, so a minute ago I drew this line right here, and then I started drawing a B line. I said, oh, I'm going to change that, and I made it longer. It's because where I originally had it, it was about here, and it was going to line up with this line, this B line right here. And so I changed it. So, and as you're going through this, you guys are going to make a lot of decisions on what you're going to draw and how you're going to do it. One thing that will help clarify it in your brain is if your lines, like on Madison's, see how this line of this building is right in line with this one? That can be okay if that's what you want, but sometimes it really confuses the eye. And then on this one over here, Raphael, eyes are on the screen, right? It's lining up with this edge over here. And so sometimes if there's a little bit of a gap, it'll make more sense. Can I change this, Madison? So if you'll watch, I'm going to change Madison's just a little bit. I'm just going to move this A line over. Sorry, I have to draw dark. All right, so see how now there's this gap out here and things aren't just lined up the same anymore? Keep that in the back of your head for later. It'll make things make a little bit more sense. I saw someone else had lines that lined up, so if you want to change that, it's a good idea if that happens. All right. We got it wrong. Where does this line go right here? We were on it. Does it go to here, here, or up and down the page? So if we go, always go to the dot. So if you erase that. Wrong. So we got a lot of space on this page. So the thing to do now is just start putting boxes places, A, B, and C lines. Stack them on top of here, make them come out, put them on top, put them over here in space, put them in the sky. A, B, and C lines. Just keep going, keep going. The more you do this, and the quicker it just pops into your head, oh, that's an A line. Oh, that's a B line. It's a C line. The easier it is later, and the more complicated the drawing you can do later, and the better it'll look. Any questions on that? All right, away you go. So once you get a lot of boxes and you feel comfortable, you can start changing things up and adding different things and putting holes in things, putting windows, putting posts, putting a flag in. Don't do words yet. But everything's based on the A, B, and C line. Like these are the 3 boxes that I drew for a class one time and then just started changing them up. I put bricks on the side of this building. I put a hole in it over here. This one I put a door and some windows and some flags. This back building back here, or this one in the sky, I put a box going down, and I changed it to 4 posts. This swing is a box. All right. There's some rules to that. This road, all right, C lines, and on the stripe, the lines going back are C, and then the lines coming across are actually going over here to B. Put in some sidewalks, all right? Everything going that way is a C line, and all the cracks in this sidewalk are going to B. So, I mean, it's just endless of the things you can do with those boxes you have. You know, so maybe you put a hole in one, or you put some windows on there. Put a door. You know, maybe you get a sidewalk or a road going somewhere in there. Okay? So try different things like that. All right, have fun with it. Show and tell. A little bit more show and tell. So obviously, you know, you can start adding things, and y'all are starting to get that. Looking around, saw some of y'all are working on. You're trying it. Saw a few mistakes, some things that I'll correct and help you out, but I like the fact that y'all are trying some stuff. So, you know, earlier in the class, I told you I'm not a drawing artist, and I don't mean that as an insult, or it's just a fact, in my opinion. It's not good or bad. It's just who I am. But I say that to tell you that you can learn how to do this. Art is a learned skill. Someday I'll tell you my longer story of it, but I was not born an artist. Didn't think I was from the crib. But when I found art, I had to learn it all. I found it when I was in college, and I had to learn it. Everything I had to learn. So I had a lot of catching up to do, and I paid attention, and I just tried, and I failed, and I tried, and I failed, and I finally got better. So I say that because for the rest of the semester, for a bigger part of it anyway, we're going to be doing shading. Shading. It's like, in my opinion, there's a whole lot of elements to art. I mean, there's a lot of things to art. But as an Art 1 student, it's one of the things that I can give to you or teach you that'll make whatever you're doing just a better. It'll make it look like you're a better artist. And maybe you don't go on to be an artist in life. Maybe you don't go on to become a drawing artist, but you're shading, people will go, ooh, hey, you got some skill there, dude. And if you'll just keep practicing, you'll get better. And And I just practice. The more I do it, the better I get. The longer I go without doing it, the worse I get. But these are just some simple blocks that I did some cross-hatching shading on. And they look a lot more exciting than just a line drawing. So, and all I did was I'm going from a dark value to a light value. So, in your other classes, when you're bored, all right, they have margins in your books. Not in your books. Don't draw in your books. I'm not going to even give you books anymore. But margins on paper, margins around the world, those are made for artists, for us to draw and doodle in. So it does not hurt to doodle and draw and practice and try things. This is a drawing I did for this class, you know, and everything in here is an A, B, or C line, and then some shading. Everything in here goes to this vanishing point, or it goes up and down the paper. So, yes, you can get you can get somewhere with things. And then the last one I have. Sometimes, depending on the class, depending on what we're doing, we go out and draw in the hallway. And this is. Why did we freeze? That's not what I wanted. All right. Way back in the day, the freshman foyer used to look a lot different. This is the door you come in by the south office. This is the library doors right here, and that's the hallway going past the library and the theater rooms. There was different stuff on those two walls right there where y'all sit and where concession stuff is or whatever's over there. But everything in this drawing, even the spheres that are below the floor, that's me being an artist, putting some imagination in there, is an A, B, or C line. All right, and I just took a simple room, drew it, I decided to put a crack going out the door, cut the floor short, and then I just used a Sharpie and I did cross-hatching and shaded this thing. So everything in here, A, B, and C line. All right? So once you get to A, B, and C, it starts becoming crazy endless, the things you can draw. So don't be thinking that we're drawing boxes. All right, any questions on any of that? All right, so before I call for cleanup, a few things. A, you have a homework assignment. All right? Don't get too upset with me. It's a real hard one. What I want you to do is just start looking around in your world, you know, and maybe this table is in my house, and I look at it, you know, the kitchen table, I start looking at it like, okay, that's an A line right there. All right, so this line must go to C, and that line must go to B, and then this must go to C as well. Start looking around at the things in your world, your bed, your dresser, your car, the bookshelf in the house, stack of books on the table, your phone laying on a table somewhere. You know, what makes that, where's the A, B, and C lines? And when you start seeing that, when you come into class, it starts making things easier. Okay? All right, one last thing, a bit of housekeeping before we start, before we clean up. Miss McClellan, she's leaving on Friday. It's her last day. Normally she'd peek up till the end, but just the way that the projects are ending, it's easier for me to start this project since I'll be with you with this project for a while. So I'm kind of moving back into the teacher role of the class. Cell phones. If a cell phone is in this room, all right, in your pocket, headphones in your head, anything like that, on the table, in your hand, all I do is I walk over to my computer and I change your participation grade for the week to 70. And then I won't move it up. All right? If we don't need that phone for an art tool, it has no place in this room and no business being here for 90 minutes. If you can't live without it, then you got to live with the 70 in the grade book. So today is the last day I'll talk about it. Like I said, if it's on in your hand, on the table, hanging out of the pocket, if you've got earbuds in, that's telling me the same thing, that you're somewhere else and you're not in this art class and you don't want to participate fully in this class, so you don't get a full participation grade. Any questions on that? Okay. If we're using them as an art tool, that's a whole different story. But for the most part, we have laptops and we have our brains. All right, you guys put everything in the portfolio, put everything back where it goes. We are done for today.
Yeah, I found one. It's not the guy I was talking about.